IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Yes, on Cyrus Says, we have a hugely important guest. Yeah, I'm talking too fast as usual, so just catch up for God's sake. I think about 320 grams of caffeine in me. It takes me some time to calm down. Before we introduce Sharik Patel, good friend, colleague, we suffer the same school, same spousal abuse, which we'll come to. Before we get him on, I just want to quickly tell you a crime has been committed in this country and no one is talking about it, so I'm going to do it. Me and Arnab are the only two people who actually tackle crime from other perspectives. Too many people have chairs without handles. I went to somebody's house. They gave me a chair to sit on for a good 45 minutes of meeting, and there were no handles. I nearly fell out. How can you construct a chair without handles? It's wrong, it's criminal, it's insane. Nobody in the world should have to sit on a chair. Just try and sit like that. You just don't fit properly. Your body language is horrible. You don't know what to do with your arms. You can't rest. You're always fidgety. It's horrible. The only way out is handles. Chair and handles are like bra and panty. They go together. If you have only one, you've sort of exploited the subject and it's not allowed in most cultures. So my appeal to everyone out there is if you have these kind of chairs, please remove them and have them replaced with handles. Handles for everyone. That is my dream for a united India.
We live in an age of disruption, of immense change in every aspect of work, life, and business. But is the old way of doing things truly dead? And are we ever going to stop saying the new normal? Join me, Varun Dugirala, on Advertising is Dead every Tuesday as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, creators, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond to dig a little deeper into how we got here, what we're doing now, and where we're headed. You can catch all the episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from.
Let's call on Sharik Patel. Huge body of work. Sharik has made some 4,000 films and moved for the entire spectrum, I think, of TV channels and radio channels, which is quite rare to have gone through all these at such a young age. Sharik, formal welcome to the show. Your money will reach you as we speak. As you know, we pay every guest on time. Thank you for being with us. I'll start by saying, for people who don't know, we are from the same school in a sense. You were from the school, weren't you?
No, I was from Calcutta, Lamartnia. I was from the
Oh,
best
sure.
school.
LMOB. Sophisticated, yaar. You played rugby growing up. Very good, very good. Yeah, BIS. We are both BIS parents. Let me just mention.
No, you need to say we are proud BIS.
Proud. I'm not so proud because I feel that they're charging too much.
No. If you compare what they charge as opposed to what some of the other schools charge, I think we are okay.
You think so? But my daughter can't spell. The other day you couldn't spell precious. We were sitting and she was doing some literature assignment and said, how do I spell precious? I was like, I pay what, 1 lakh or something and you can't spell precious.
Because spelling is no longer important now, just like the
what's important? What the hell do they learn? Sharik Patel, I ask you, what do they learn?
They learn how to think. So in BIS, they learn how to think. They learn how to argue with
they know how to argue.
They'll all make great lawyers. They can, argue.
Filibustering is a natural art. Absolutely. They all know how to hold up the class,
Absolutely.
Apparently, and the house for that matter. Yeah. Okay. No, but lovely. Look at me. I went from Cathedral where no one spoke to you outside. When I could get my son in there for some time, people were unfriendly and reserved, and many people had chauffeurs at 6:30 in the morning, which is something. I mean, unless he lives with you pre-COVID, I don't know what the guy is doing driving a car. And then to BIS, where people hug you, kiss you. It's like the 60s. Everybody's friends. They want to meet all the time. Parties, events. Oh, God, it was too much of a culture shock for me.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit too much, right?
Too much. Yeah. Somewhere in the middle lies the answer.
Correct. I'm loving COVID because I've not had to go to school for any of those assemblies or something now for like a year and a half. And I just love it. Otherwise, every other weekend we were there for something.
And then the walk. You have to walk up those 4 floors, man. That was, I always ask the wife, do we have to go to the top and the function is always on that top thing. Why couldn't they keep that at the bottom, keeping in mind we have grandparents and, lazy people like us? It's just unfair.
Badly planned design of the school.
But I'll say this now. I'll praise the school only once. It's a horrible thing to do. But they do punch above their weight. The kids are generally really nice. And the teachers are really nice. So I think I won't complain too much. Just they can bring the fees down slightly. I'm not happy with this kind of payment. Sharik, I don't have your kind of money or your paintings. Look at my one painting by Aisha, my wife. I don't know if you can see it.
You need to up the...
Which I can't move this damn thing. Give me half an hour. Yeah. Sorry. But it was worth it. Just say Aisha, great painting, in case you ever
Aisha,
watch it.
great painter. She's an artist. She's a lovely photographer. She's a marathon runner. I love her. She's too good. please pay the compliment back to Toral.
Yes. What do I say? But the same thing.
Wonderful person.
Toral, wonderful runner, absolutely great artist, a go-getter, and yeah, all that. And overachievers always say.
Yeah, of course.
Overachiever. Chalo, let's now talk about the Sharik Patel legacy, and we'll come to Toral, because that's for me a very important point for people who are listening to this for the first time or don't know enough about Sharik. Sharik is Muslim. His wife Toral is Hindu. It is not allowed in some states, and I hear all kinds of stories, love jihad and this and that. But way back in the 80s, when India was a free country, they got together. Their tale of love. We'll come to it a little later, but we want to hear the whole romance because it's quite a beautiful story. Please sell the rights. What an irony! You're a filmmaker also.
I'm going to make it myself.
I think so.
I'll also star in it. I'll be like,
but look at a younger Toral.
Of course, I have someone in mind.
Ouch. Sharik moving home will be left on the roadside. Okay, let's get to the Sharik Patel story. So you were saying LMOB. Let's start right there. You're a Cal boy. And what were you going to do? What was your ambition growing up?
I was a Cal boy, and a lot of my friends went abroad in the 12th. And I was like, "No, abroad kahan jayega?" And my parents' dad was very keen that. So my dad grew up in Bombay, Nepean Sea Road, and so he was very keen that, and he was trying to move back from Calcutta to Bombay, and he said, "Okay, acha, college, you should go to Bombay." So I said, okay. I mean, didn't know any better, right? When you're 17, 18, just getting out of home is good enough. Saying, I don't want to be in Calcutta. And US somehow didn't really fascinate me at that time. So I said, okay, let's go to Bombay. And just got onto a flight the day the 12th standard result came.
How much did you get?
I got an average of, I think, 78.
Was that? I can't remember what is good or bad in those days. It's
the equivalent of what now is a 90, I think, which isn't that good, right?
So not bad.
Yeah, so 78.
Huh.
So 90 right now is not good. Huh?
You're right. Now 98 in order to get into special college is ridiculous.
I got 78 or 79, whatever, something like that. And I came to Bombay, and I stayed in like the fanciest bungalow of my dad's best friend was the chairman of SBI. So Dunedin, which is close to where you stay.
Oh yeah, of course. We used to play cricket against them. The colony, Hyderabad colony estate.
Yeah. So great. This bungalow stayed over there.
You got a little cricket ground and everything.
Yeah, correct. So from there, I went to college to NM. I got into Xavier's, by the way. But my mom said, BA karne thodi tum aaye ho to Bombay. You should do BCom. Because Xavier's didn't have BCom.
You got Xavier's what, arts?
Eco and commerce double major. But my mom called up and said, how dare you go all the way from Calcutta to Bombay?
Why do arts have such a bad name here?
I don't know.
So unfair.
Yeah, correct. But when you're 18, whatever the mom says, you don't want kitch over the phone on STD, right? So you're like, okay, I'll apply to the other commerce colleges.
The point to note here is the STD was the problem.
Of course.
If it was a free phone call, you could have argued the point. Your whole career would have changed if you just had a mobile phone and incoming free.
Correct. Absolutely. So, then I was in NM. I did stay in the hostel for a few years. And then NM BCom, NM IMS MBA. I got from campus, I did finance over there. So, of all the companies in the world, I joined a bank, a development financial institution called Export-Import Bank of India. And my dad was damn happy. As I said, his best friend were bankers from the...
You inherited the same bungalow, but different bank.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have been like MD by now of Exim Bank if I'd continued like 27 years, 25 years later.
Or Punjab and Sindh Bank.
Yeah, correct.
And Nirav Modi would have been your good friend. Who knows? Things could have changed.
Yeah, I would have been in UK hanging with the boys.
Yeah, well, if that's what you want to call it.
I was 4 years there, and then I'd had enough of banking, and then suddenly, all of us in the late 90s, early 2000s, there were like multiple industries opening up, right? I mean, so there's something called the internet which came, and they said, okay, these internet companies are there. Would you like to join?
Thank you, Sharik. Internet came in.
Yeah. So I joined a company called ChaiTime.com, which was like majorly funded, some 25 million.
Let's talk about that. ChaiTime.com. So there was one of those startups.
Yeah, one of those startups.
Because this was that wave, right? Where everybody brought this.
2000. So, joined over there as doing some business development, which I don't know what the hell that meant, but was trying to make money for a.
But what was the portal? What was it about?
It was like how Rediff was. So Rediff. Rediff.com.
Lifestyle sort of thing.
No. It was what is it called? It was not a vertical. It was just a general portal covering everything. No? It had cricket updates and Bollywood and everything. It was one of those cutting across horizontal portal, like India types.
What MTV became basically.
Yeah.
Once you figure out we don't know what we're doing. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So ChaiTime.com, that failed in like 6
months. You also joined India Times.
And I joined India.com. Sunilullah, your ex.
Yeah. In Bangalore, right?
Correct. So I joined in Bombay.
Okay.
So so again, business development, 1 year of that, and that also shut down.
So what happened? What happened to this India.com? Just remind me.
No, so India.com was funded by Rupert Murdoch, and Pradeep Kar was the founder. Microland. Sunil Lulla was the CEO. I love him. He's a good.
The socks man.
The socks man.
Yeah.
And so joined over there, and then basically there was no money to be made, right? And it was that first flush, and then the .com bust.
They all bust at the same time.
And, Rupert Murdoch decided to pull back the money completely, and then everyone was jobless. And India.com, whoever some of the employees got merged into Channel V and Star TV. But a lot of us were said, "Acha, okay, you are not required. Please move on." So 3 months I sat at home nicely, jobless, enjoyed myself.
Unmarried?
No, married. Got married immediately. No? I mean, we'll come to the love story later.
Yeah, we'll come to the love story later. No, but it's interesting to know that for 3 months after marriage you didn't have a job.
Yeah, so wife was working.
That's a lot more pressure. Oh, that's true. You hit the overachiever. You don't have to worry. Yeah. Press button, play.
Yeah. So 3 months jobless. Then I joined Airtel. They were launching in Mumbai at that time. So that would be 2001, where there was launching in 4 circles in Bombay. So at that time, joined the value-added services where all the funky stuff of astrology, get your cricket scores on SMS, if you remember, send CRI to someone.
Yeah, that was a big thing. You could just check your score out.
I was at the cutting edge of, all those caller ringback tunes and, the songs will play on your mobile and, all that happened. So there for a year and a half. And then I got a call from Tariq Ansari to come and say, midday, saying, hey, we're looking for someone to head the radio station. And I said, okay, what is this? So radio also opened up pretty much at the same time, right? So I jumped into that from 2003. I was in Go 92.5 FM for 4 years. Absolutely loved it. Tariq is fantastic. I'm sure you know him.
Go was midday?
Yeah, I was midday. I was at Go 92. So Go.
That was Win.
No.
Go was an airline.
No, Go 92.5.
Sorry, are you drinking?
No, Go 92.5 FM. You've forgotten.
The names are too similar.
I didn't know. Yeah, but this was before Go. That was before Go Airlines.
I fought for these names. I said these names have strange names, like Mediterranean Radio or something like that.
It was the same channel that Anish
Trivedi, correct. And T-Man and all that. No, that was the channel.
Yeah, correct. And then Tarana and Jakku and everyone were.
So that was Go.
That was Go. Then it became Radio
Which was
1.
actually midday.
Yeah. Then that became Radio 1. What is now?
Let me just write note to self, do research before calling guest on and wasting his time. Okay. All right.
No, that's right. So ran the radio station. Then while I was running the radio station, I got a call to join Z Sports. I didn't take it up. I was like, no, I'm enjoying radio too much.
Where was the sports connection coming from?
No, see, what is happening at that time when you're a professional general in, general management, every industry was opening up, so they needed people. So anyone who was willing to put their hands up and say, yes, I'm willing to jump and, without knowing what this industry entails. So I got a call to join Z Sports, which I didn't take up. But immediately 6 months later, Subhash Chandra announced, I'm going to do Indian Cricket League.
Yeah.
That's why I called up. I said, boss, if you're doing ICL Sports League, I'd be really interested. And I quit radio and I joined the ICL. So was part of India's...
Which began with a bang.
It was fantastic. Kapil Dev and Dean Jones and the gang and the entire this thing.
And Jason Gillespie told me that he's still to be paid.
Yeah, I fully believe.
Is this true? That he didn't get more than 50% of the payment?
I don't know. I'm back in the Z group, so I shouldn't.
You're back in the Z group. Oh, okay, so he got paid. He just talked to his. Yeah, fair enough.
No, but there were
research to be done. Don't ask poignant questions at the wrong time. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
No, so ICL was there, and we were damn excited. Launched India's first league, and then IPL came within 6 months and just completely.
So what went wrong there exactly? The BCCI was upset.
No players, no grounds. So they
weren't getting a share of the pie. What was the?
Because it was something that we kind of. It was Lalit Modi's dream to do this league, which he activated because of ICL. Otherwise, it remained one. Yeah, karenge, but it never really moved on.
In the meantime, ICL was whose idea? Because it predates.
No, Subhash Chandra. It was
himself.
Himself.
So it wasn't like Lalit Modi and him had a chat and then he hijacked the league and then.
No, not at all. This happened, if you remember, we lost in the 2007 World Cup. We were out in the first round.
West Indies, yeah.
West Indies, and we announced it literally the following weekend, saying, I am going to create this next level of, players who will take up
to improve fair enough.
So that was it. So we got all the eyeballs, did fairly well the first season, but then IPL came and there were no. So we had cricketers who had signed up and then they backed out because of pressure by the BCCI and everything. So they literally frustrated us. No cricketers and no grounds.
But why didn't you all try to do it with the BCCI?
Because, I mean, that's a question that I think only Subhash Ji can
You ask
answer.
an art student to help you with the obvious. I'm the Viru Sehwag of podcast, man. It's just the obvious. Just go for
Yeah.
it.
So I guess it was, and I think the other fault which we did was that we retained everything, right? We owned all the teams, we owned the league, we owned the channel, we owned the production, everything. So it was, the idea was to create value and then off.
It's a more Kerry Packer style.
Correct.
Where you had all the teams under one roof, not franchises and
Correct.
all
But
that.
if we had managed to, and I remember that time there was a lot of interest by different business groups. If I think Subhash Ji had done some of those deals upfront, it would become, because when IPL launched, it was BCCI plus Sony plus Shah Rukh plus Mukesh Bhai plus Vijay Mallya.
Oh
So
no,
you had
every
a
TV
power
actor, all of us got involved. They
Yeah,
used
yeah.
everything they
But
could.
understanding the owner, the money was coming from 10 different sources, right?
Yeah,
Only
yeah,
was one pocket, and there's only so much that you can, allocate. Hence, Jason Gillespie getting only 50%.
He's doing well. So is it Subhash G or Subhash Z? Sorry, I couldn't resist. I couldn't. Sir, if you listen, it's only me. He's a very happy with the group and the outfit. And
Yes, I am. Yes.
coming back a full circle, which again we'll come to. Let's just quickly go through the rest. Then, so ICL, you must have been bitterly disappointed though, because it looked like it was the idea, and then sort of hijacked the idea. And
Yeah, no, of course it was disappointing because we kind of started off with a bang, and we are the one who got sportainment into the industry. We had Kareena Kapoor coming for the opening ceremony, managed by Brian Tellis and gang in
Fountainhead, huh?
and everything. But I think it was just the power of IPL and legitimacy, and all the cricketers and everything. It was just so of course it remains a sore thing in our this thing. But still, I mean, we did what we did, and I think IPL can be was started because of Subhash Ji's.
The catalyst was ICL, the
Correct.
Indian Catalyst League, and then you have the IPL today. But did you think of joining the IPL? But with your experience with the ICL, I saw a lot of.
No, but I had got offers just before, so I'd launched.
I'm
IPL.
sure.
Got a lot of offers, but at that time I was like, no, we are the founders, and I can't let the group down, and I need to, do all that stuff. And then before you know it was like, so all then once ICL ended, all the top jobs which were there were kind of taken up, and there was nothing which was open when I was like, okay, ICL khatam, what I want to do.
Any regrets about that?
No, not at all. Because then straight away after that, I started actually, as ICL was quitting, again, the corporatization of films is happening. So I got a call from Raghav Bell's group, Studio 18, which is now Viacom 18, saying that, hey, why don't you come and be head of production? I said, I don't know anything about films or film production. I must do it.
So, Sharik, what a lovely story. Wherever you've gone as the pioneer, you actually have experience in other things.
Yeah.
They call you to sports, you've not done sports, but you've done everything else. They call you to cinema, you've not done cinema, you've done everything else.
Correct.
Nice
So,
story.
Yeah. So I call myself a career slut. I just keep jumping, and without knowing anything, just see how it goes. And now for the last 10 years, pretty much been in the film space. So, I mean, growing up, it was always, between films and sport was always considered one dream job, right? So, managed to straddle both, and, happy doing this.
But Sharik Patel also started Trigno Media in 2011.
So what happened was, again, corporate restructuring happened. So everyone was like, Raghav Bell was losing control or whatever, he was selling out. And so we were like...
We were there on that Black Friday, trust me.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of our colleagues leaving in their Jaguars, never to be seen again.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, so that was happening. So then I said, okay, now enough of, doing all this corporate stuff. Let me try to do something of my own. Because while I was getting offers to do some freelance gigs in sports management, as well as, producers saying, can you help us with this marketing release? So I said, chalo, yeah, let's start my own company. So I was there for about 7 years. The company was there. The company is still there, but it's inoperational right now. So I did a mix of sports. I did work with LG for the ICC World Cup, all the sponsor servicing management for that brand is something with the World Series hockey.
2011 World Cup.
Yeah, 2011 World Cup. So I was there at
when we won.
Yeah, when we won.
You were in a royal box when Dhoni hits that.
That's right.
On drive for six.
So my daughter Seher walked with the team. She was one of those LG kids which are walking in the
Wow.
in the World Cup. Yeah. So I did that. Did something with the World Series hockey, but that Nimbus again. Rebel League means I need to be involved, right? So. So the Hockey Rebel League, which happened in 2012, did some of that, helped marketing and distributing some 15 movies. Then I said, "Bahut ho gaya, chalo produce karte hain." So then I acquired the rights of this British movie called The Infidel and got it written by the late Kundan Shah, was kind of supervising the writing of it. And that happened. And then the script was ready. We went and met Paresh Rawal, and he had just finished Oh My God, it just released. So when I got a chance to meet him, I was like, he won't do it because this is another religious satirical comedy, He read the script within 2 days. He said, yes, I'm on. Do you have money? I said, no, I don't have money, but we'll raise it. He said, okay, when you are ready with the money, come back. So then we went shopping, raised money from Viacom, my ex-company. And then went ahead, made the movie, released that in 2015. And then did multiple, other corporate AVs and this, that.
There is one interesting, there's some rumor in one of these Stardust online magazines saying you had an affair with some Manushi Chiller,
No,
the Miss World 2017. Sharik, is this true?
I didn't have an affair, unfortunately. But no, I did a lot of work with the Times Group.
Ouch. Okay. Go on.
No, she was 18, yeah. So
I know.
Bit, we have to be careful.
Your problems are only to do with the rebel leagues, not the rebel ladies. Huh?
Yes. No, so I was doing work with the Times Group. We were creating videos for them and things like that. So I shot a lot of videos of a lot of the Miss India winners and what their videos would go to the Miss World and Miss Universe pageants and things like that. So in fact, we did about 10 videos for the different with each of those winners for like 3 years.
Was Toral happy with the fact that you are now dedicated your life to the Miss Indias and that you were helping them, reach a better place in their lives?
Because Miss Indias have a beauty with a purpose. So
who can deny that? Yes. What was Manushi's beauty with a purpose?
It was actually on menstrual hygiene. So.
Okay, I will not react to that because either way we're going to get canned. This is not a good one. All right.
I did a lot of research on menstruation and menstrual hygiene as part of that.
It's a favorite subject, a preferred subject. One who wouldn't.
Yeah. So,
should I ask you questions on your new expertise?
No. That was 5 years ago. I just studied for the exam.
Can I tell you something very private without taking names? So during lockdown, unfortunately, that part of womanhood happened, and I was so bloody. I just didn't know what to do, for 5 minutes. We're not equipped. This is one thing I have to tell fathers. Just spend 5 minutes in case you're alone with the daughter at that period of time. No pun intended. You need a cause for 5 minutes because I can't. I'm squeamish.
No, when the same thing happened at my house and because there was like
no female presence.
Yeah, there was a conference happening between the three main women of the house. One, of course,
what fear? As if they can't pick
and
up
I just walked in and I was literally told, "You're not required here. Go." And I asked why, and I just got a stare, and I said, "Okay, I need to go." And then later I was kind of told what it was, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I walked in and I shouldn't have."
So they made you feel inadequate. I knew I was inadequate. That's the only difference. But I get what you're saying. But really awkward moment. But people shouldn't feel awkward. So let's go educate ourselves on this some other day.
Regressive statement, Cyrus. Let's retract it.
Let's move back to the romance now, because that goes back, I think, to Cal, right? If I remember correctly. So it's a lovely story. So I won't interrupt. You tell us.
No, so okay, so Calcutta has got this great club culture, right? I mean, you're always hanging in the clubs, which was there, and I was in the market.
Well, there's the TMC club and the BJP club, so
No, there's no BJP then. The TMC was also not formed then, right? It was this is
the clubs were on the left, is it?
No, and there's the Lamartine boys and the Lamartine girls, right? I mean, these are the two schools.
Correct.
And so it's not a co-ed school, but you have
one wall dividing.
One road. Gowden Street is dividing.
Right.
And it was one of those things when you're like 13, 14, you're like, and we were all part of the swim team, and so we used to like.
Who was part of the swim team?
Me and Toral, we were all.
Oh, you all met at competitions, you say?
Yeah, no, I mean we were representing the school or the clubs or whatever. So it was just one of those things that.
It's a romance that goes back to when you were 13.
Yes, I am.
This stays on record forever, Sharik. So you want to Google?
No, it is. I mean, everyone knows it's something that I'm not. No, sorry, I'm proud of. I'm proud. I need to say that, yeah. But advice to anyone: please don't. I mean, at 13, you should know you can break up. I think the problem was when you're 13, 14, you're like, no, you're not going to break up. What is breaking up? You don't.
Or are you Salman Khan in Dabangg? Once you give a commitment, it's for life. You can't help it.
Yeah, probably.
It's why you didn't take the job with IPL when you could have.
Correct.
You just let it go because you're still with Z. So the irony or whatever, the karma is in a way correct as well. Back to the Toral story.
So it just happened one of those things that, in the swimming pool, someone said, "Acha, which girl do you like?" So you're like, yeah, okay, this one.
She's going to see this. Do better. You just said, "Ain't mean Saradin." No, come on.
So I like her. So then one of my friends went and said, "Hey, Sharik likes you." So she said, "Yeah, but I don't like him. I just like him as a friend."
Ouch.
So I was like, "Yeah, okay, forget it. Nah, raat gayi, baat gayi. Yeah, whatever. Moment gaya. Forgot about it." Then about 6 months later, at a friend's party, one of her, I mean, all common friends, Anamika's birthday party, she was turning 13 or 14 or whatever. So she says, just come slightly early, I want to talk to you. So I said, yeah, what is it about? So then she takes me to the other room. This is Anamika, the friend, not Toral. And she says, there is, and just then I think Toral also walks in. She says, I think Toral likes you. So I said, Acha. But when I told her that I liked her 6 months back, she was not interested. So she said, now she likes you. So then now you guys talk it out. So then she left and we were like, yeah, you like me? Okay.
Anamika the broker.
Yeah. And then what happened was, as soon as it was literally like, yeah, you like each other? Yes, we like each other. And then, Anamika walks out and then 2 minutes later, we also exit the room because, you're 13, 14, what do you do alone in a room, right? I mean, you walk out and then obviously the party was happening. So there were like 10 people and all the kids, 13, 14, 10 years, left the road, saying, yay, we got a new boyfriend. And we're like, oh, okay, boyfriend, girlfriend. Okay. So that's how it literally started that,
So it was pressure from society. Now there's pressure from society for people of different faiths not to get together. But
so,
then you cheered on.
In terms of faith, it was not even a question for us at that. Calcutta in the 80s was.
I think Cal was one of the best places in India.
It still is. It just
in terms of cosmopolitan and secularism and all that.
Absolutely. So growing up a Muslim, I never knew I was a Muslim other than the fact that so my dad.
Your food was better. Oops, sorry.
Absolutely. So the only time we were really religious was my dad was not religious at all. He would not pray. I don't think he still knows how to pray. My mom kind of prods him as to God. Mom was quasi-religious, but she was enjoying. The only time the house would get a little extra religious was when my nani would come and stay. But then there had to be a little bit of decorum. So we used to have like a Hafiz ji coming and making us read the Quran, which was like one of those standard things that you do for 15 minutes post lunch after school or whatever, and you don't make too much about it.
And he does most of the reading anyway.
Correct. So so it wasn't really one really didn't know Muslim, Hindu, Christian, Parsis, Armenian.
Nobody in the background, adults, obviously the kids would say ki "Arey yaar,
it was not even a passing thought. Now again, I don't know if it boils down to privileged background that we were from going to.
No, brother. The last 10 years have exposed that this intolerance is not to do with one class being more secular than the other. I'm sorry to tell you, bad news.
No, I agree with you on that. So so it was a fairly that's how it started. And to the credit of both my parents and her parents, even though there were murmurs saying, which they got to know, say 2, 3, 4 years later, when you were standard 9th or 10th or 11th or whatever, is when they kind of never did they were just saying, acha, okay, this is like a school romance, but different religion, be careful, and there's may not be a future, there won't be a future. And you're like, yeah, who's thinking of the future, right? I mean, and then, but never to the credit of either to both my parents and her parents, not once was there an ultimatum given, like how in a film or whatever, that you have to end this.
I'll never eat again and all that.
So both sets of parents were extremely, cool and liberal about it. And then
the truth about marriage, now that we are married, we understand, is not to do with the faith or the background or any of this nonsense or race or whatever. It's to do with the fact that do you both believe in towels on the bed or not? Do you both believe in AC use or not?
Yeah.
Do you both believe in shutting the windows or keeping them open? These are the small things that can kill the marriage.
Agreed.
Not where your background.
Unfortunately, you realize only after you're married. No?
That's the thing. We should focus more on that, Sharik.
No, that's why our kids, we should encourage them to live in and decide before, rather than doing this.
Tell me one thing. Let me ask you an awkward question. What if Ryan or your daughter marry, say, a foreigner or someone from a totally different alien culture? Would you ever question it?
No, not at all. So I kind of opened the floodgates not only for myself, for the rest of my family, but a lot of my cousins also got exit routes. So my sister also was dating someone from school. She's married to a Bengali Hindu. They're living in UK. My brother is married to a white Christian living in Chicago. So I just kind of.
The Patels have done their bit.
Yeah,
we've done a global village.
We've done our bit, and so I really don't have I would be hypocritical to say that.
But that happens also with a lot of people who suddenly turn orthodox later on in their lives. It's better living a different life. Whether it's drinking or smoking or anything else.
No, I will be a little honest. I'm a little. How to put it? I tend to so protective. So so every time there is mention that Seher is seeing this boy and they're dating. I'm like, no, she's not. So I'd like to.
But that's more like just your daughter. You don't want a little girl to grow up, sort of thing. It's not about the person per se.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. So that is not something that that either of us or any of us really have.
I told my daughter only try and keep the non-vegetarian, the relationship, as in not metaphorically, but in food terms. So
But I'm telling my kids not to marry. I think it's just too much.
It's like buying flats. It's outdated now.
Yeah, it's an outdated this thing. I mean, be in love, live in, do what you have to.
No pressure.
No pressure.
You can leave on the weekend, just pack your bag and go. Nobody gets hurt.
I think it's too much. Or maybe I'm just saying it because of just being in this relationship for so long.
Sharik, every time I leave my home with my bags packed, my wife shouts from the window and says, "Come here."
Don't come back.
No, towels on the bed. First take it off. So I have to come back and clean the room, And this lockdown has been horrible for me. I'm basically a maid now. I do all the cleaning. They gave me a free vacuum cleaner. And I said, it's so nice. And she said, it's too big. This, that, and the other.
Dyson.
Yeah.
You bought a Dyson.
Yeah. So then, but it looked easy, right? I mean, it is easy, but I didn't really want to use it every day, bro, I do want to play with an organ, but that wasn't it. But anyway, let's come back one more question on the marriage thing. But you at 13, because this is now, let's leave the communal issues and all. 13, 14 till we are in our 40s now. You
840, almost
40. So what? 30 odd years of being together, and I mean, you made fun of it before, but you never hesitated, either of you, in your late teens, early 20s, as you grew into adulthood?
So you got to hear this. So it was, so after school, you're like, acha, you go to college, you don't know, who's going to go where or whatever. So I was like, I'm coming to Bombay. And my mom was, parents somewhere would have been, chalo, ab ye jayega. So no distance will make them, separate or whatever. Guess who was in the flight right next to me coming to Bombay for college?
Ananya.
No, unfortunately, no. Literally, we arrived on the same flight.
How can that be?
Because I said, no, I want to come to Bombay.
No, that's not possible. This can't be true.
It is.
Without knowing?
No, she planned it.
Oh, okay. So she followed you basically.
Yeah.
You didn't have a choice. She was like a predator. You were just like a deer in the headlights.
We didn't know that word did not exist at that time.
Yeah. A predator's got a violent side to it. Let's just say stalker.
Yeah.
No, that's even violent. You know what I mean. We'll find a word at some point.
Yeah. So then college, one thought that one would be like totally partying and doing whatever one has to, and but
variety is the spice of life, etc.
Correct. And she came and she was in Sydenham, I was in NM, so I just said.
But that's a world apart in terms of geography.
But every day you have to come, every other day you have to come, and once you plan, you can't change, because she used to say
no mobile phone, so you have to stick to the plan.
So if you got to arrive at like 4:00 in the evening, has to be 4:00, because then she's looking from the window. You're walking from Charni Road station, and she'd say, "Okay, I'm coming down now." It's all very complicated, It just we were fools. We are fools. But
I feel your pain. Your pain. I mean, it's a lovely love story.
No, but there's hope. We're late bloomers. Maybe.
This is what you tell yourself, is it? As the hair recedes and the paunch comes out, remember, we've got nowhere to go. This is it. The golden years are probably behind us.
Yeah, correct. I agree.
Anyway, on the flip side, it survived 35 years. Which relationship, male, female, parents, children, whatever, can survive in the modern age, 35, 40 odd. Okay, we'll take a quick break. Sharik, when we come back, we want you, the philosopher, to answer questions basically about sex.
Okay.
Because that's what the show is about.
I'm a pro.
We haven't got into that yet because we are parents from a very privileged school and we don't want to show this side of our personality to anybody. So, but when we come back, we can't lie anymore. Is that okay?
Yes, for sure.
All right.
Okay.
Taking a break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank the sponsors on the network this week, Siet Tires and The Whole Truth Foods. We really appreciate your support. So, on Cyrus Says, Sagarika Ghosh, journalist, columnist, author, discusses books she has written, her experiences from reporting about the Babri Masjid demolition back in the day, and the upcoming state election. Cyrus also had a great episode with Devdutt Patnaik last week. Do check that out. Chuck narrates an interesting story about a company that shared its virtual expertise with other companies and empowered the virtual world. No, we're not going to tell you what the brand is, but go check out The Origin of Things. And Chuck also came back on Simplified this week from episode 200 onwards. He's back. Go check that out if you haven't had a chance to do so far. The Habit Coach Ashton was joined by Sapna Gopalkrishnan, his co-trekker on Mount Kilimanjaro. They recollect the trek's memories, and Sapna talks about the challenges she faced On All Things Policy, Rachit Sheth talks to Sarthak Pradhan about Delhi's water crisis. This is due to the pollution of its major water source, the river Yamuna, and he discusses the case against the state of Haryana. We had Manish Dangi, Chief Investment Officer of the Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund, on Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. They discussed India's financial report card with reference to the past decade, the hits and misses, and what the future of investing is going to look like. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
Silvery, the show is yours.
Hello, hi, good morning, Sharik. Hi, Cyrus.
Sharik, this young man didn't go to BIS, but he lived in Beach Candy for a little while and went to Green Lawns.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he shifted to Powai and now he goes to Hirandani School of Technology.
I went to Hirandani school for 1 month. I went to boarding school after that.
Oh, right, you went to Panchkani where they bullied you.
Yeah, Panchkani.
Yeah. The stories, they are terrible. You don't want to hear. That's why he keeps a beard now. He's just so unhappy.
All those memories. Yes. All right. First question comes in from Karan Sethi. He says, which suburb, according to you, is the best in Calcutta other than Park Street?
Wow.
Park Street, not a suburb. Park Street is like the heart of it.
Okay.
Which suburb? I like Tollygunge. I even lived there for a while because, Tollygunge Club, RCGC. Again, I'm talking from like...
Is that where the rich live?
No. Not which. Calcutta is...
mixed up always.
Yeah, it's mixed. There's no... there are pockets which are, which are richer than the others or whatever. But Calcutta suburbs, unfortunately, when we grew up in Calcutta in the 80s, it's like living in this cocoon of South Bombay. So we were literally within those 5 square miles or 5 square kilometers with our school club and, home and everything was right over there. But which suburb? It's not a suburb. I like the Newmarket area, great food over there. Street food in Calcutta is the best. Overall food in Calcutta is the best. I don't know if you've...
No, I agree. I'm a huge Cal fan. I just come back 2 weeks ago. Tangra, no? The Chinese area. Tangra, yeah.
So the advantage is you get the best Chinese food in the country thanks to Tangra, authentic Chinese. You get the best continental because, the British capital was there.
The Anglo community is also there.
Correct, Anglo community is there. You get fantastic Mughlai because even the Nawab of Awadh and all, they moved over there. So, the overall, and Bengali food, of course, is fantastic. So I would say, I think Tollygunge and that area, it's, for me, again, I'm talking from memory. I visit every once in a while, but again, I remain in that small.
Will you be voting in Cal?
I wish I was having my voters ID in Cal. All my friends.
And who do you vote for?
I would vote for Didi. No, without a doubt, Didi. I'm all for Didi. Khela hobe.
My God, endorsement straight away given. Sharik, let's be careful about the contract that you're sitting on. Okay, next.
Okay, next one comes in from Karan Sethi again. He says, the pandemic has severely impacted film distribution. What considerations are being made with regards to cinemas possibly closing again due to the second wave?
Yeah, and what money do they make? Sharik, I was arguing with my daughter about this. If 5 people are sitting in the cinema, even for a big Hindi film release, what's the play economically?
No. So economically, if you're releasing theatrically, it is, it's not, the amount of money we are getting from the OTT platforms to sell the films directly is a lot higher. I sold...
That's like a surcharge.
Yeah, it's a full surcharge and it's happening when we sold our films early in the pandemic last year, we almost got 2x of cost, right? In terms of, with zero risk, right? There was no box of every film is on OTT, right? Everything is fantastic. So theatrically, it is a huge challenge. Having said that, I also released one of our films that we had produced called Suraj Pe Mangal Bhari with Diljit Dosanjh and Manoj Bajpayee, the National Award winner for another movie as announced yesterday. It was the first film to release. It released in Diwali. Extremely low footfalls, but it was a fully in-house production owned by Z, and we kind of the idea.
Why use the cinema then if you're not getting anything out of it?
No, but I think it was also just to support the cinema halls because they're bleeding so badly that they need some content to at least have some semblance of revenue coming in. Profitability for them on a per unit or per week basis is far away from hitting that. But if you don't start with, you don't make a start, it will continue. So we started in Diwali, and then nothing substantial came in the Hindi space till Ruhi and Mumbai Saga. So 6 months, right, from between Diwali and Holi now. We got Suryavanshi. We are releasing a film with Salman Khan called Radhe, which is expected on Eid. I got a Punjabi movie which we're planning to release on April 2nd, but we are stressing about it because in Punjab there's a
Lockdown,
Sundays they're stopping it, and there'll be night curfews. So increasingly it's extremely. So the Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, there are exit options. There are Netflix, Amazon, ZEE5, Hotstar are willing to pay a fair amount of money to directly premiere them. But the other regional languages, the recovery is not as much. So I think that's why a lot like Marathi, there's been no Marathi film which is released. We've got 6 films in Marathi which are ready to release, but we haven't even released them till Maharashtra kind of opens up fully. We are still at 50% with a lot of cities actually going into curfew. It's a tough situation, and of course production had stopped for like 6 months from March to August last year, and what we are actually seeing, a lot of actors are now getting infected by COVID. So a lot of shoots have got stalled. So we had gone into full production, or most actors had decided to come out and start shooting, and now again we are seeing number of people, Kartik Aaryan, Manoj Bajpayee.
But while that is happening, there's also some good news, right? Which is basically that conventional cinema's loss is adult cinema's gain. Because that's going great. I mean, not me or you particularly, but everybody around us, always on the phone. Silvery, for example, every day some genre of pornography or the other. And I'm so proud of him, really, because he's spent the 12 months learning how to cook food and different positions for a man on his own, by the way. Yeah.
Well done, Silvery.
No, I just actually watched the same position again and again with different people doing it.
Because you don't follow it.
Yeah, correct. Like these are aspirational positions.
One day, hum honge kamyab. All right, next one. Next one
comes in from Hemraj. He says, how has radio changed over the last 30 years? He's asking, how has it changed behind the scene, tech-wise and skill-wise? What do you think, Mr. Sharik?
Yeah,
I think tech-wise, I mean, there are too many funky gadgets happening at the radio station. So I heard some of Brian Tellis's podcast a few days back, and how he was talking about how it used to be the CDs, and so of course now everything is automated and things like that. But I think overall radio, the explosion of channels across the country, and now with podcasts, and I mean, podcast has made technology come back to zero, right? I mean, everyone's podcasting, or everyone's trying to podcast, as such. So I think the democratization of that is good. The problem, or what has stifled the radio's growth, has been this crazy license fees that the government has been charging right from 2001, 2002. And that's why
point to note, he's talking about many different governments. It's not an attack on any one government.
It was actually under the NDA, I think, 2001, and then of course UPA 10 years also. No, but even the UPA didn't make any substantial things.
We could edit it there, yeah.
So I think, and that's why all the radio stations continue to sound the same, which is, I think, sad that even after almost 20 years of private FM, it's still the same radio talk. It's still the same. Still the radio RJ talk. There's still no talk radio, right? All the talk radio is moving into done by podcasts, by Cyrus and the likes. Which is what increasingly, I'm as a user now, I'm spending a lot more time listening to these podcasts rather than listening to the songs or the banter on radio. Suddenly, maybe it's just it's a function of age. But I'm enjoying talk radio, which unfortunately, if they allow actually on private FM, you'll see a huge explosion of.
They've got too many rules, right? You can't do news. You can't open this topic, that topic.
So I'm saying in 20 years, there hasn't been enough liberalization in the radio space. Which is sad.
Yeah. If you were interviewed on radio, you could never discuss your marriage and how you were not tempted even once in those 40 years to look left or right. I mean,
I was tempted many times, but
we'll break you down, Sharik Patel. We'll break you down till we get the answers. I just want to know what happens after she watches or listens to this. Very funny, or all right, Sharik, here's the bag. You'll get to see Tollygunj again.
No, I'll get Silvery to give the edited pieces, right? So just watch this, hear this.
He's only giving that Didi Tarif moment of yours in Bengali. That will be looped over and over again. And if she loses, Sharik, Tollygunj is gone. Yep. All right. Next one. We have a little time. 5 minutes.
Yeah. I have one follow-up question to that, though, Sharik.
Yeah.
So we have missed the wave of the Howard Stern. Like we would never get that kind of a radio thing, a radio personality. Do you think at some point in the future it's possible to go back to that? Maybe like the get Howard Stern or an Opie and Anthony kind
A
of
radio
show.
personality as big as a TV or film personality is saying,
Yeah.
which Howard Stern became like a cult.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure there were. I mean, we had Amin Sayani, right? I mean, he was as big a personality for all of us growing up in the 80s, or all the great cricket commentators. So I think moment it was unifying and there was like limited
Competition.
limited competition that is happening. I think it will emerge, and I think probably come from the personality. There's Jitu Raj. How can you forget Jitu Raj is some personality, right?
He's perennial forever.
Yeah, Brian Tellis is was again one of those evergreen ones. Cyrus is
Above all these names, including myself, is Arnab. If he starts a podcast, I think it'll be a cult following. I mean, what are your views on that Sushant Singh Rajput 52 episode?
No, I think it was really sad. I mean, it's something that
they created a story and it flew.
Yeah. I think it's sad. It's there's no other. The poor chap committed suicide for whatever reason, whatever his mental state was, and I think if everyone starts creating this hullabaloo for the first 1 week, I can still understand. Till the facts of the case don't emerge and everyone has speculative stories. I don't condone it, but it's understandable. But after everything is getting, to just keep this thing alive and going and making it into an agenda was just absolutely
Brother
bizarre.
Sharik, they kept it running for 4 full months. For 4 full months, India was watching this like it was a cricket game.
Yeah, so up to the first 10 days, first 15 days, I can still understand, okay, maybe is there some foul play? All of our minds are wired like this. Is it the girlfriend?
Fair enough.
It's, this thing. You can't sustain it after, after AIMS said that, no, yes, there's no, there's absolutely no suspect foul play. AIMS is wrong. So then, there's no end to...
And he would always hold up papers. They would hold up papers, the reporters, which you can't see. I find that, imagine I'm saying, Sharik, I know everything about you. It's all here. It's all here. I mean, what does that mean?
No, it's really sad. I mean, I have not seen any of these news channels for years now. And
Except Z News channel is...
I don't watch Z News also. I mean...
But you should. I'm just trying to help. I don't want you back to the Tollygunj. I'm trying to do my best. All right.
So just read the papers and get your news from reliable Twitter sources and following the trends which happen over there every day and enjoy that. But the Sushant Singh...
Nothing like a garbage piece of opinion to start the morning, right? And correct, forwards.
Yeah. That was sad. It was just something that
all right.
shouldn't have happened. And I think everyone in the fraternity was also as and I think everyone was shocked. Everyone got scared. I mean, they just meant to shut everyone up, right? No one speaks because you speak, you get killed. You don't speak, you get killed.
And then everyone's a drug addict, and everyone's involved with drugs.
Yeah, I mean, it just reaches.
When it's only 85%, I mean, it's ridiculous.
92. But
I'm kidding. All right, next one, Silvi.
Yeah, okay. Next one comes in from Kashin Shetty, a regular contributor of ours. Hi, Kashin. He says, "Hello, CB and SP. Apart from Shekhar Suman's Movers and Shakers, we've never really had a proper talk show host type show. What do you think? Why do you think this format never resurfaced on Indian TV?
Kapil Sharma shows what?
Yeah, but correct. You're right. Kapil Sharma show is
No, I think it's just resurfaced. I think what Movers and Shakers was a little too intelligent, right? And I think moment for Indian television, what one has seen is that you've got to just keep it, I won't say dumb it down. It sounds a little...
Also, they use the usual suspects, the top 5-6 films that release, the same actors. So that's the style that even Karan Johar has the same 10-12 people he calls back.
Yeah.
Well, Movers and Shakers call everyone. They're a far bigger,
Absolutely. But I think what happened is he's right because you don't have a talk show on television on current affairs, right? It's always about some gag. It's like a variety entertainment program we see in our schools, right? I mean, everything will happen in that 1 hour.
And a man dressed as a woman is a must.
It's a must.
It's in the law. You cannot balk that.
Yeah, you want eyeballs, you just throw in a man drag and you see eyeballs online or whatever. So I mean, it's a good question. I don't know why it hasn't. No one's really attempted it. Also, I mean.
I think this is kind of a son of a beach, but that's not on TV.
No, but even I think what Cyrus does is something like that, right? On NBC.
But we send it to the Home Ministry first, the script. We always, and I mean the center, not the state, because then there are targets to be reached, and it's confusing for us also. We go straight to the center.
That's another crazy story, yeah.
What a story that is! I'm just thinking, what are you going to tell your kids now? They want to be an engineer or pilot, or forget that. Do a job where your target is 100 crores. I mean, that makes more sense. Correct. Everybody's involved in an ambitious project.
I think that's another story. It's still to play out completely. I think there'll be enough twists and turns. before we figure out what is the motivation behind this entire thing. Why did
That is the only thing I can't understand is why that bomb was placed where it was, and that just doesn't
why
add
did
up.
that Scorpio go to Altamonte? We still don't know.
And you seriously think you take a firecracker from Diwali production and keep it in a car and attack the richest man in India, where even a pigeon can't land anywhere close if you go up and down.
I'm sure there are many more twists in this tale.
No, I think the crime branch just doesn't have enough parking, so they just park their cars there sometimes. I think that's all it is, a common mistake. We South Bombay guys understand all this, the pain that a car driver, a person driving a car will go through.
Correct.
Silvery, what else?
Yeah.
One last?
Okay, last, yes, go. This one again comes in from Kashan, but this is a very interesting question, so I thought I should ask this one also. He says, hello CB and SP again. It's been a year now since India went into lockdown. I have kind of fallen into a comfort zone while staying at home, ordering groceries, not meeting anyone. How are you guys adjusting with things slowly going back to normal? Anything during the lockdown that you miss, and any guilty pleasures that you have enjoyed during the lockdown?
I've been out from the first day of last year, so I'm really the rebel here. And I'm anti-lockdown, anti-mask, anti-sanitizer, anti-virus, anti-COVID, anti-everything. So let Sharik, a man of logic and reason, talk.
I'm also pretty much anti a lot of those things. I think
paranoia beyond a point, man.
Yeah. So I think March, April, May, I also hunkered down, didn't move around too much. June onwards, moment they allowed people going back into office, I've been out. So start off with like once a week, twice a week. From July onwards, I think it was daily. Even if it was just for like 2 hours, I would go out.
In the words of Karan Johar, the greatest poet since Premchand, it's all about loving your family. Yeah. How can we stay together for so long without causing trouble? I think you did the right thing. The moment you can, people have to start moving out.
No, absolutely. And I also just found a little that we wanted our productions to start the TV production and start this thing. It's a little facetious, right? I mean, hypocritical. Hey, you guys go shoot. But in office, I am not going to go because it's dangerous to me, right? I mean, people on a set.
Also, we discussed the evil villains, the WhatsApp groups of our buildings and all, who were trying to safeguard themselves all the time, left, right, and center. I was just thinking that nobody thought of the bigger picture, that so many people, when you make a film, 300, 400 people are being employed, they're getting money. A lot of them don't have those 2-3 months window where they can survive, So nobody thought about that. They only thought about themselves. It exposed us very badly.
I'm telling you, I've got this theory, privileged upper class India are the biggest assholes in the world.
Thank God someone is speaking my language.
No, completely. I think, and some of us are included in that. A lot of our friends and family are included.
All of us are included in that. But I'm saying at least at some point understand that what you're doing is wrong from a holistic point of view, from a humane point of view.
Why are migrants walking through it? Because they don't have a choice.
Because we threw them out. Sharik, you asked them to leave. You and I asked them to get out of the house. Just go. Here's give them money. Those who you felt that you've done your bit by giving a little more money. Money to do what? They couldn't find a bus or a cab or a car. And where do they go? Jharkhand is not around the corner.
Correct. And in terms of what I missed the most, I mean, what I enjoyed, so my parents were here, so, spending 4 months with them, literally breakfast, lunch and dinner.
How did Thoral enjoy it?
Then you'll have to ask her. I think after the first 2 months, she was like, okay, when is lockdown?
Is there a plane?
No, to be honest, I mean...
Hey, what the hell's wrong with you guys? When you're stuck with family, the last thing you want is more family.
But, I think I don't think any one of us would have had that breakfast, lunch and dinner with our parents.
Yeah, that's true.
Or, non-stop. Because even you're growing up in school or whatever, you'll have at best dinner together, right? Your breakfast, you're eating and you're rushing to school. Lunch, you're not at home together. Dinner, if you're lucky, everyone, all 4 or 5 people are at, on the same table at the same time. I think I really enjoyed that. What I miss is my daughter's Dalgona coffee. She and one of the building friends would every day at 3 o'clock, 3:30 make, those Dalgona coffee was the rage. And those Betty Crocker cake mixes.
I love that.
Yeah, so so that used to be almost a daily or every twice a week for the cake, kind of an affair. So that's what I miss, the simple things of the cold coffee on a hot summer day.
So it brought the village together. And it's all time bound, for a time it's all great and then it just becomes too much again.
And correct. And touch wood, I mean, luckily no one fell ill. And, so I really, a lot of people cursed 2020. I'm just thankful that, it happened and none of us were really impacted. Let's see what happens in 21. Second wave seems to be worse than the first one, impacting more people. So just wear your mask. I'm not anti-mask. I'm a little, I'm grateful. No, I flew to New York to drop my daughter, and for 14 hours I had that mask, and it's in the mind. It doesn't matter.
And initially, when the first flight I took about 2 months back, we had to wear the shield and the mask, and that was suffocating. They put that thing, and then they come and tell you like school teachers. Which reminds me, who's your favorite school teacher?
there was a Miss Brennan. And sorry, Mrs. Ritu Singh, the art teacher, was a favorite.
Are we talking crush here, young man? Or are we talking someone who left a mark, an indelible mark?
Oh,
on your
no,
mind?
you're talking about the mark. Yeah. No.
I don't know. It's up to you.
Left
We
a mark.
each have a different perspective on education, and this is very fair.
Yes. So favorite teacher. And no, we had, the Martinia, we had all great teachers, and we made fun of all of them, and they were all great, and so no complaints. Everyone is great. We love all of them. You want to ask me who's my favorite BIS school teacher? I can say that also.
Who's your favorite?
I won't. No,
Come on.
That will be too controversial.
You think?
Yeah.
Because Ryan is still in class. You don't want him to carry the sins of his father.
Exactly.
Wait 3 years, we'll do this again. What,
Yes.
4, 2, what is it, 8, 9, 10? God, I can't count.
Then 8. No, they're going to
Eight.
9th.
They will go to 9th. Hopefully they'll go to 9th.
Oh, no. I think they'll pass everyone this year.
I think
BIS.
that's true. That's true.
What
Or if you're the one kid who doesn't pass, oof, that's painful. What have you just done? Oh God, Maya, work hard. By the way, Sharik's son and my daughter are in the same batch from the beginning.
Yeah.
And he's like the athlete of the class.
Oh, wow.
Isn't he still like the fastest kid?
He was. Last year he got beaten by Arjun Doshi, who kind of shot up. Puberty hit him.
Right. He became 6 foot or something.
What a cheater, right?
So you're saying anabolics.
Yes.
You're saying HGH. Definitely growth hormone has been used. The kid, he's a vegetarian. Boom, he's up. He's huge. What's going on?
Yeah. Correct. He just towered over everyone and killed.
This is like a problem we used to have with you Bengali swimmers, bro. Where we used to have competitions in Bombay and all. All of them were in the under 70s. There'd be a guy with a big beard and chest hair and all that.
No. Yeah, we were.
Yeah. Bengal and Delhi were famous for it. They just turned up. Age was not an issue. It was just flexible.
Yeah, of course. That remains true in Indian sport even today, no? So it's okay.
At least in cricket, apparently they started that bone test.
Yeah, no, in athletics, so my son had gone for a national last year before last, and he was running under 14. And I kid you not, there were kids with like mustaches and like almost shaved beards running with him, and I like, dude.
And their parents were in wheelchairs and going, but
Yeah, so that's how it is.
But that's the smaller fight we will fight later. Right now we have to fight for the safety of democracy. Sharik Patel will stand for elections from South Mumbai.
No, I will be like you. I'll just wear the orange t-shirt. Forget it. Why? We can't fight it. It's lost. I think it's.
You think I'm hinting?
I think it's a lost.
Look, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know about the center. Coming back to the state, I think the Home Ministry is up for grabs. So I'm going to make a call to some people I know in the NCP and see whether I can get a. I think it's a good job. My targets will be much lower. Everybody will feel less pressure. All good.
What, 98 crores?
Yeah, exactly. You think it's real? Somewhere there's a truth somewhere, right?
We all grew up watching movies where there was Hafta, right? So
Literally. But Hafta was like a small amount, 1,700.
Small amount taken by everyone when collated and inflation adjusted. Now, what is 5 rupees then? Probably is $50 now. 100.
You can say that, but 1 year of, I was thinking how insensitive it is. 1,710 bars, the figure was given across the city, but they have no market. So you're taking 2 crores from what? I just went to Trishna, which is next to my office, and there's nobody there for lunch yesterday. There was just me and Kunal, 2 of us in the whole place. So what business have they got? Without any business, you're still extorting Hafta of 2 lakhs to 3 lakhs from them. So they're now minus 3 lakhs.
No, and plus they shut the dance bars 15 years ago. So imagine the revenue loss. Then it's legitimate.
I met all my girlfriends at the dance bar.
Yeah.
All.
Yeah, those used to be fun days.
Oh, good, really. Much cheaper. For $10, you get a dance where she does all the dancing. Oh, is there fear? Someone's come?
Yeah, that was Solo. She just said, don't.
Okay. Tell the romance.
What dance bars? No dance bars.
No dance. Say no to dance bars.
Say no to dance bars.
Unless you start male dance bars next, I'm very worried about this equality crap. Not crap, but take it too far and things will go out of control. Imagine you're stuck. Your wife says, "Let's go watch the men dance," and you're stuck. Ouch.
I'll dance.
God no, bro. Dancing is too tiring for our age group. Are you a good dancer? You're both athletes, right? Both your kids are athletes. So who's the athlete in the?
Me.
Yeah.
Even Toral was. She used to swim. She's
there, right? Just say she was the best.
She was the best athlete ever. The best swimmer ever represent.
Bar none. Could have gone to the Olympics, but put her mind into business.
Just decided to
focus on home and business. Yeah.
Business and cash. Yeah.
Is she still there?
She's gone.
God, and you're worried about the government. We can't handle the home government. Man.
Agreed.
All right.
Agreed.
Okay. All right, Sharik, we've kept you too long.
Question. What do you do in office? I mean,
Oh, my dad is not too well, so I have a little small 400 square foot office here. So I started writing and stuff like that, and
okay, you're just using the office as an office, right? It's
so I just have to pretend to go to work. Otherwise, people look, the watchman looks at me like I'm a loser and whatever.
And what were you shooting in Mud Island?
I was shooting an ad film. Don't ask which one. And before that, I was shooting. I have a theory. If you're Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Akshay Kumar, Hrithik Roshan, you never go to Mud Island because your career is always going up. But for the rest of us, we know we're going nowhere in life because always the shoots are in Mud Island or beyond. And it's really sad because every time they tell you Mud Island, you're downcast, you feel like a loser, you need therapy, and you call Shamlal your driver, you send in the GPS, you say, boss, this time don't get lost in the last 10 minutes. Or finding the exact bungalow is always a bloody problem because they all look the same. There's Buller or Puller. And I hate that. We're okay reaching there.
You drive all the way or do you take the Versova jetty?
No, I'm not taking the jetty, yaar. Ridiculous.
It's 2 minutes.
Common people on the jetty, yaar. Main kya karega? Don't be silly. It is.
Akshay Kumar has taken the jetty, yaar.
But he takes the whole jetty. I can't get that privilege.
He buys out the entire village on the way to...
Exactly. He says, "Main khiladi," and they have to walk out. Or he screens toilet immediately. In which case, same reaction.
No, but I'm going to get my casting to reach out to you and make sure that we shoot with you, but not in Mud Island.
I'm saying if you shoot in South Bombay, I won't take any payment also. I just like the idea that, I can go and come in a little while. But with Mud, the drive back, Sharik, let me tell people who don't know what life is like. We actually asked them, don't finish by 6. Because between 6 and 7:30, the car doesn't move. Better to finish at 8 then, and then, at least the drive is better.
Sit in retreat, have a drink or whatever, and then get out.
The producers during lockdown are not paying for a drink or retreat. You can go and sit in the lobby like a loser, say you're waiting for someone. That's the best you can do. Correct. You don't know how hard times are, bro.
I know.
You're rocking. Our life is very hard. We are down to one painting, this duster, which now I'm going to stitch and make into a dress for my wife because we have no other materials. But Sharik, it's been a pleasure talking to you. What a lovely career, and really honestly, I hope it inspires people to go out there and marry whoever the hell they want and not listen to all kinds of morons around them.
I agree. I think the only way the country will move forward is there should be more inter-caste, inter-religion marriages, and just everyone should just...
I mean, it's not rocket science. If people just live together, they understand each other, the end of story. That's it. Having said that, boss, 20 years of marriage, both hai bhai.
That's also true. There should be a contract.
Limitations.
There should be a contract renewal every
yes,
year or so.
Yes, correct.
You will still continue to...
Thing is, she's still pretty and will get someone in the market. Who will I get? Kunal. I mean...
You already have him, so...
Yeah, I mean, he's dowry. I take that back. Sharik, pleasure talking to you. Have a great day. I'm going to leave now because urine calls me.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yeah, it's all good. The episode is over. Just at the end for the live stream, I would like to make an announcement. Please, again, reminder to like and share this video, guys. It helps with the algorithm, so more people can watch this video if you guys like it. And please review us on Apple and Google Podcasts. And that's about it. Thank you so much. See you guys soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Good catching up, Cyrus, man. We should...
All the best. Yeah, of course.
Once this is done, we should catch up.
Where? Until this COVID crap is over.
Club. We'll meet at the club.
Done. See you, Baba.
Chalo, cheers. Bye. See you. Bye, Suraj. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Want to learn something new and have a few minutes to spare? Well, then go for the Traveling Professor's Diary, where I, Siddharth Deshmukh, the Traveling Professor, will help you glean from all the insights that I've gained from wherever I've traveled, learnt, taught, and repeated. Join me every Tuesday and Thursday on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
2020 is a difficult year. A global pandemic, protests, elections, recessions. You get the picture. What we need is a space where we can have nuanced discussions about global affairs and foreign policy. That's where I come in. My name is Hamsini Hariharan and I host the States of Anarchy podcast. Every second Tuesday, I speak to experts in the field of international relations to make a little more sense of the world. So join me on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you're listening to me right now.